Morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday and welcome to Recovery Education. Brought to you by Promise Resource Network. My name is Sharon Galuski, and today we're going to talk about resilience. Good stuff, yeah. But before we get started, almost turned us off. I want to talk to you about our warm line. Our warm line is 24/7, 365. Holidays, weekends, in the middle of the night, if you need to talk to somebody, call us. If you need a resource, call the warm line. If you need to vent, you need to just talk about something, talk something through, call the warm line. People are there who truly know how to listen and have resources available to them so that they can hopefully support you. So that number is 833-390-7728. That's 833-390-7728. So call our warm line. If you need us, call us. We're there. The other number I want to give you is our front desk number. If you've got a question, if you want to find out more about our services, if you want to speak specifically to someone on our staff, call Kim at the front desk. She will get your message to us quickly and easily, and hopefully we'll get back to you as soon as possible. So if you need to talk to somebody specifically, if you want to know about services we provide, just give Kim a call. And that number is 704-390-7709. That's 704-390-7709. All right. So, resilience. Big word, isn't it? It really is a big word. A basic definition is an ability to recover or adjust easily to misfortune or change. I got another one too. It says, resilience is the ability to withstand adversity and bounce back from difficult life events. Being resilient does not mean people don't experience stress, emotional upheaval, and suffering. It happens. Resilience doesn't mean that we are not affected by the world and its difficulties. It means we get on the other side of it. Some people equate resilience with mental toughness, but demonstrating resilience includes working through emotional pain and suffering. So it's not just chutzpah. It's not just that determination to do something different, to adjust to misfortune or change, right? It's more than that. It's going deeper. It's going deeper in ourselves so that we can get through what we need to get through, right? Life is difficult, and it's, I don't know about y'all, but this last year is about whoop my butt. And I've seen so much resilience around me that it helps me be more resilient. So, some of the characteristics of a resilient person. So, what do we look for? What does somebody who is resilient look like? The first thing is they're self-aware. Self-awareness is essential because it helps us see clearly and thoroughly. When I am able to know myself, know my strengths, know my barriers, know things that I can do, things that I can't do very well, when I'm aware of myself and my abilities, when I'm aware of my past and the experiences I've had, I can use all of those to build up my resilience, right? Past experience shows us that we have been, let me tell you something. I know everybody out there is highly motivated and highly intelligent, or we'd be dead, right? We got to be smart and motivated, or we're just not going to make it out there. And that's a big part of resilience. Being motivated to do something, to change something, to get through something, to to have that self-awareness, that intelligence about ourselves, that we can use our strengths to get to the other side. Hey, Karen. Karen and Kim are on there. Thank you. So resilience, we got to know what's in us so we can use that to get through. Right? Another characteristic is being realistic. Sorry. Being able to see the world and situations we face with a realistic way is extremely impactful in our ability to be resilient. When combating hard situations, being able to be realistic helps us address the situation and make clear, concise decisions about how we will take it on. Being realistic about a situation, right? What is the truth of this circumstance? What am I going through? Have I been through it before? Can I get over it? We need to be realistic. I need to be realistic because it helps me assess the situation at hand, right? Logically, knowingly. We want to be realistic in that I know the truth about a situation. Right? I'm not too pessimistic that I'm never going to get through this, or too optimistic that it's just going to be a breeze. Right? It's realistic. It's a balance. And it's based in truth. Truth about ourselves, truth about the situation, truth about the people around us. So, realistic. We want to be self-aware and realistic. Okay, the third one is keep calm under stress is a characteristic of someone that's resilient. I tend to keep calm under stress and then freak out when it's all done. It says the ability to stay calm in hard circumstances is invaluable. Remaining calm allows us to face any obstacle and still make thoughtful decisions on how to combat it. Calamity and resilience go hand in hand because when faced with adversity, both of these characteristics are necessary to overcome it with a positive manner. Calamity and resilience are both necessary. When I have my wits about me, when I am calm, when everybody else is freaking out, that shows my resilience. Right? My ability to stay in the present rather than go too far in the future or too far in the past. To be where I am helps me stay calm, especially in adverse situations. So to be where I am, to look about me, to see who is there to support me helps me stay calm too. I can stay calm, especially if I've been through something like this before. My past experience helps me stay level because I know I've been through something like this before. Or maybe I know I've been through something as hard as this before, so I can stay calmer. Like I said, I stay calm during the event, and then afterwards I lose it. A lot of us are like that, I think. Okay, the next characteristic is empathy. Empathy is so good. Empathy is the ability to understand and share feelings with others. When a resilient person can show empathy to those around them, they will have the ability to better understand the situation and how it is impacting other people. With this ability, we will be able to better gauge how to move forward and combat the situation while keeping others in mind. So we have an understanding that we're not in this alone, that this situation, this calamity, this tragedy, this trauma that we're trying to get through may affect other people as well. So I want to be cognizant of that. I want to be always thinking about who is affected by my decisions. whose life changes as a result of the things I do, right? And I want to have that empathy. I want to have that ability to think of another person with kindness and love and help them understand that we can get to the other side of almost any situation. Not easily, but together, right? Excuse me. The next one, self-control. Self-control is a characteristic of resilience. When we are resilient, self-control helps us take control over ourselves and our actions. An important aspect of resilience is being able to be accountable for ourselves and know how we combat issues. And with high self-control, we are aware of ourselves. Self-control comes out most in times of discomfort and hard situations. And that is also where our resilience is seen most. So when I'm able to keep myself in check, when I'm able to do the next right thing, when I'm not losing it as a result of this situation, this tragedy, this trauma, whatever, this loss, whatever it is I'm trying to get through, self-control helps me, right? It's talked a lot about making choices and taking action. And that's a big part of resilience. That's a big part of resilience, being in action and having that self-control to choose. I want to be able to choose my best next step. And when I have that understanding that I do have a certain amount of power, that helps my resilience too. That builds it up. That helps me stay in power of my mind, body, spirit, and actions, right? Self-control is so critical for me because I have had so little of it in my past. So I treasure my ability to take a step back. I treasure my ability to choose something that benefits me the most, right? To be able to weigh something out and say, okay, this is my next best step. All I have to do is hold on and do this thing, and it will help me get through, right? So self-control is critical. Being motivated. Without the drive to respond in a particular way or achieve certain accomplishments, we wouldn't have the stamina and strength to push through obstacles. Being motivated allows us to seek and strive for hard things in life. When resilience and motivation work together, we will be empowered to strive for our goals and overcome obstacles along the way. Motivated. I want to get through this. I want to live. I want to be strong. I want. But it's not only the want, right? We can desire, we can want, we can plan, we can choose. But until action happens, nothing changes. That's what it means about resilience and motivation together. Resilience and motivation create action if we're doing it right? That's what I want. I want the action to get through to the other side. I want to be able to push myself when necessary. I want to be able to have those goals and desires, but be willing to put in the time and effort to get those things, right? So motivation is big. The last characteristic is being optimistic. When obstacles come up, an optimist will first think, how can I overcome this, rather than why did this happen to me? With their energy focused on the positive, optimistics have the energy and headspace to be resilient and push through whatever came their way. It's that mindset of positivity. That mindset, is the half glass full or half empty. It just depends on what's in a glass. Is it coffee? Is it soda? What? Anyway, so to be optimistic, to be able to, it all goes into that motivating ourselves into action. To be optimistic for me is to believe that I have the power to get through this situation. Remember, I'm realistic as well, but I want to be optimistic. I want to be able to know. I want to be able to question myself. What can I do now to change this? Knowing that there is something that I can do. In almost every situation, there's an action we can take that can better it. And a lot of times being an optimist helps us understand how to get to the other side. Understand that it does take positive energy and positive thoughts, but mostly positive action, right? Resilience is action. Resilience is getting through. Resilience is that strength in us that empowers us to walk our walk in our journey. Right? So those are the characteristics. Characteristics of a resilient person: self-awareness. I know what's going on with me. I'm realistic. I understand this situation, the truth of the situation, and the truth of me. Keeping calm under stress. Being empathetic. Self-control is a big one. Right? I don't want to be running around. I also need to be motivated and optimistic. Those are the characteristics. I like those. I wanted to go over the characteristics because I want to be able to identify when I am being resilient. Okay, because sometimes I may not be aware. Sometimes I may not associate that word with what I'm going through. Karen, Kim, and John, talk to me. Talk to me about your resilience. What is one thing you've gotten through as a result of your resilience? Just a brief sentence or two. What have you gotten through as a result of being resilient? There are some ways that we can build up our resilience muscle. Okay. And you know me, I love a list and I love a chart, but I always look for more and more and more information. I want to have a plan. I want to have the information so that I can have the knowledge so that I can walk through a situation. I want to be able to build what's already there, build on that resilience. So, ways to build resilience: make connections. That's one of the biggest ways, I think, to make connections. Good relationships with close family members, friends, or others are important. Accepting help and support from those who care about us and will listen to us strengthens resilience. Some people find that being active in civic groups, faith-based organizations, or other local groups provides social support and can help with reclaiming hope. Assisting others in their time of need also can benefit the helper. So being connected, knowing that I'm not alone, helps me keep going. Right? Knowing that there are people out there who have my back, people out there who can help me, people out there who care enough about me to make that connection to help me get to the other side. right? I want to be surrounded by people that can show me how to get through, right? In the beginning of my recovery, I didn't know how to get on the other side of anything. I froze or fought myself. So the resilience wasn't there. The connections weren't there. I was very much isolated, and that made it difficult to go through trauma. And when I began to connect with other people, really connect, really become a part of somebody else's life and allow them to be a part of mine, things changed, things shifted. I was stronger with my tribe about me, right? I tell this story, I always tell it. My friend Linda, at the end of a lot of 12-step groups, at the end, a lot of them get in a circle and hold hands and say a prayer. Well, my friend Linda said, when the weight of the world is on my shoulders and my knees are buckling, I think of the circle. I think of my people, and that gives me strength. Think of your people. Think of all those that are with you in spirit, in person, that are just in you. All that support from others that we receive. To remember that. To make that a priority. Because support makes everything easier. Right? Support makes everything easier. And the beautiful thing about recovery is that I don't have to be alone anymore. I don't have to be alone anymore. Okay, another way to build resilience is to accept that change is part of living. Certain goals may no longer be attainable as a result of adverse situations. Accepting circumstances that cannot be changed can help us focus on circumstances that we can alter. When I am able to understand through that self-awareness, through that being realistic, that I am not going to be able to get over this thing by myself. I'm not going to be able to achieve this goal. I'm going to have to accept it as something I have no power over. The good thing about acceptance of things that we cannot control is the realization that there are things we can control, right? There are things. Hey, Roberta, there are things that can help me. And that acceptance is a big part of it. To be able to truly take a breath and say, okay, I don't have the power to control this. This person has placed this thing, this situation. What can I control? Right? I always say, the circumstances may be overwhelming, but the two things we can control are our attitudes and our behaviors. Our attitudes and our behaviors. Those are two things we can control. Oh, I'm sorry, Roberta says she's still looking for a job and she's getting down about it. That's where that resilience comes in, right? You have connections. You have connections. And you've changed so many things, Roberta. You have grown so much over the years that I've known you. Your resilience is strong. I felt like Yoda there for a second. The force is strong. Okay. We want to avoid seeing crisis as insurmountable problems. It says you can't change the fact that highly stressful events happen, but we can change how we interpret and respond to these events. Try looking beyond the present to how future circumstances may be a little better. Note any subtle ways in which you might already feel somewhat better as you deal with a difficult situation. So look into the future, being, going back to that, being optimistic. I've known so many people that have been through incredibly difficult situations. And because of their inner strength, because of their resilience, because of their resilience, they are able to get to the other side. Roberta loves Yoda. Okay. So we want to move towards our goals. We want to develop some realistic goals. Do something regularly, even if it's like a small accomplishment. That enables us to move toward our goals. Instead of focusing on tasks that seem unachievable, ask yourself, what's one thing I can accomplish today that helps me move in the direction I want to go? I may want to go back to school. And it seems insurmountable because, this is a financial aid, and classes and professors and a guidance counselor. There's just so much going on, and I don't really know. It's difficult. So many things coming at me. But if I can break things into smaller steps, into smaller goals, what can I do today? I can call a guidance counselor and get an appointment. I can look through the college information and see what it's going to take for me to get my degree. There are things I can do today that can help me achieve my goals. Right? So we want to move towards those things. Even if this cannot be done today, I can do a little bit over here. If nothing else, if nothing else, I can pray and be positive. I can choose my attitude, which definitely helps me in my resilience. This is the action part of it. Take decisive action. Act in adverse situations as much as you can. Take decisive actions rather than detaching completely from problems and stresses and wishing they would just go away. Do something. I got to do something. I have spent a lot of my life sitting in stuff, waiting for it to change. And it didn't, because I didn't. I didn't take action a lot of times to get over what I needed to get over, so it stayed. So that situation stayed the same or got worse. When I take action, even if it's a small step, right? It may not seem to be getting through that difficult situation, but if I take one action today, even if it's only think positive thoughts about it, or talk to another human being about it, or look up information about this kind of situation and the way others have gotten through it. When I take action, I'm going to get a result, right? If I do nothing, I get nothing. So when I do something, something's going to shift. Roberta says, exactly, I use PRN to take action against my mental health issues, one day at a time. Absolutely. My issues, if you lump them all together, can feel insurmountable. But if I can pull them apart and take action on this area today I'm just going to do this. Today I'm just going to go to work, right? And do what's in front of me at work. That's the action I'm going to take. I'm going to do the next right thing. When I remember one time I was in a tizzy. I was at a meeting. I was about 30 days sober, and I was just having a time. And I was just going, talking, and this is what's going on, and that, and this little old lady across from me just grabbed my hand and went, honey, just do what's in front of you. Just do what's in front of you. And that cleared up so much for me. My mind gets overwhelmed. But if I can get into action with what is directly in front of me. See, they said do the next right thing. Sometimes I don't know what the next right thing is. So I want to be able to do whatever is presenting itself at that moment. Right? Do what's in front of me. Helps me so much when my brain gets out of control. When that resilience seems small, I want to be able to do something to help it grow. I look for opportunities for self-discovery. People often learn something about ourselves and may find that we have grown in some respect as a result of struggle with loss. Many people who have experienced tragedies and hardship have reported better relationships, a greater sense of personal strength, even while feeling vulnerable, an increased sense of self-worth, a more developed spirituality, and a heightened appreciation of life. I agree with that. I think those of us, you and me, that have been through the thick of it, do appreciate life more. Do see things from a different perspective. When you've been through the shit, sometimes if we can get on the other side, if we can do the next right thing, if we can set that goal and break it apart and do one small part of it, I can have better relationships. I can be happier as a result of having gone through some stuff. The fact that I lived 100% of the time through every obstacle I've ever had says something. I want you to remember that 100% of the time you've been successful. Maybe it didn't come out the way you wanted it to. Maybe the consequences were dire, but you lived, and we've got another chance. Let's see. Nurture a positive view of ourselves. Developing confidence in our ability to solve problems and trusting our instincts helps build resilience. Confidence. Remember, based on past experience. My resilience gets stronger every time I get through something. Every time I overcome something, I get stronger. It's like working a muscle, right? Every time I use it, every time I get on the other side, I'm stronger. So I want to nurture that positive view of myself. I want to trust my instincts. They told me, trust my gut. I couldn't. My gut when I was, before I got into recovery was not something I needed to listen to. But today, I need to listen to my gut. That instinct in me that tells me left or right, stop or go. I want to pay attention to that, right? Because that helps me understand where I can go with this. Keep things in perspective is another one. Even when facing very painful events, try to consider the stressful situation in a broader context and keep a long-term perspective. Avoid blowing the event out of proportion in the grand scheme of things. How important is this? Right? In the grand scheme of things, a month from now, will this be significant? Will this still be a problem? 6 months from now, a year from now. Sometimes if I take that long look, right, that look from far out, or I want to see the future. I want to be able to keep things in the right size. Mountains to molehills or molehills to mountains. I do both. I do both. So when I keep things in perspective, when I keep things the right size, I'm more able to get on the other side of it. Hey, Sam. So I want to keep things, I want to be able to think, how critical is this for my future? Okay. Let's say Sid won't give me a cigarette. I'm really stressed out and I need a cigarette. Sid won't give me a cigarette. And I get anxious about that. And I think that I just can't believe it. I'm not going to get through this. When I keep it in perspective, that's not a good example. When I keep an understanding of the size something is it really, really big? Can it be broken down? Is it as big as I think it is? Right? Being realistic, coming back to that. Maintain a hopeful outlook. An optimistic outlook enables us to expect that good things will happen in our lives. Try visualizing what we want rather than worrying about what we fear. That hopeful outlook, being optimistic, being positive, choosing the way I think about something, right? I have that power. I can't remember attitude, behavior are the two things I can control. And my attitude is definitely controllable. I choose. Now, there are things that affect me. I'm not saying that, but I have a choice today to be hopeful. I can do that. I can do that. Good things happen in our lives. And I want to remain in hope. Remember, I always say hope is the fuel of recovery. Hope is the fuel of resilience too. The hope of the future. The reality that I've made it through my past helps build that resilience. Sam says, optimism is sometimes harder than it seems, but if we harness that power to control and take the reins, it makes the hardest things easier. It does. It does. That optimism leads to self-awareness, which leads to choices, which leads to actions, right? Oh, this is good stuff. It's all mixed up in there. Mind, body, and spirit, all interacting, right? So keep an hopeful outlook because we know good things have happened to us. And when I can sit back, when I'm going through something, and I can take a step back and look and see, have I been through something like this before? How did I get through? Using that information, using that knowledge to increase hope increases my resilience. The last one is take care of ourselves. Pay attention to our own needs and feelings. Engage in activities that we enjoy and find relaxing. Exercise regularly. Taking care of ourselves helps keep our mind and body primed to deal with situations that require resilience. Self-care is so important for me. When I am well, body, mind, and spirit, when I'm taking care of myself, body, mind, and spirit, I am more resilient. I am more capable. I am more optimistic. I am more realistic, right? Because I am fed. I am connected. When I take care of myself, I want to be able, hey, darling, I want to be able to do those things, take those actions that better me, right? I want to be able to do those things that mind, body, and spirit, take care of myself, feed what feeds me, right? Feed my mind with information, with hope. Feed my spirit with motivation and optimism and all those things that I need to be resilient. And my body, taking care of my body, that self-care is critical. Self-care is critical because I can't, if I am exhausted, if I'm hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, I don't have the ability to give my best. But when I take care of myself, when I do those things that help me stay strong, it helps my resilience. All right. Yes, Darlene's in the house now. That's awesome. So resilience is the key, the ability to recover or adjust easily to misfortune or change. Easily's got it. But we adjust, we recover from the most horrific situations. The people around me that I know at Promise Resource Network and in my life in other ways have taught me how to be resilient. I didn't know how. You know, I always say I came into recovery with a clean slate. I didn't know shit about anything. So I watched other people and I watched how other people got through things. I have been through significant hardship in my life, but I've never been through anything that I haven't found someone who went through that before. Every excuse I had for, well, I can do this now, but if this happens, I'll drink, got taken away. Because I saw so many people walking through the turmoil, walking through the difficulties. And that encouraged me. That gave me hope. That gave me resilience. It showed me how to strengthen mine. It showed me how to use my resilience. They helped me. They showed me. You can hear a lot of good things in recovery, but watch what people do. That's where we learn, by watching, right? Show someone your resilience today. They may need it to save their lives. Show someone how strong you are today. Know in yourself that you've been through so much and you made it. It may not be beautiful, but you made it. And that's a wonderful thing. Resilience is key to recovery. It is the fuel. Roberta says, thank God for my dad and his willingness to see through the hard times. Absolutely. Absolutely. Those people show us how to get to the other side, how to get through difficulties, hard times, tragedies, traumas. Stick with the winners. Stay connected to your people, right? That's always the key. Have your people about you so they can help lift us up, right? That hands around that circle that my friend Linda thought of. When the weight of the world is on my shoulders and my knees are about buckling, I think of the circle of my friends and who has my back. I want to thank you all. Thanks for showing up, guys. I got Roberta and Sam and Darlene's in the house. Darlene's given some encouragement, as did Sam, to Roberta, helping get through these things. Sam says, I hope you see a breakthrough soon. Way to get taking a step forward of feeding yourself with good stuff rather than drowning in the hard times. Like that. I don't have to drown in the hard times. Thank you for that, Sam. That's good. I don't have to drown today. I know how to swim, right? Because I've done it before. Use your resilience. Whatever you're going through today, you can get on the other side of it based on the strength that you have in you. Remember, you are highly motivated and you are highly intelligent, or we'd be dead, right? So we've got this. We've got this. Just checking some more. Roberta says, his support right now is so important to my continued recovery. Other people help us. Other people help us, and that's a good thing, because then we get to help other people. What was so freely given to me, I freely give today. And that builds my resilience too. When I'm able to help someone else get through a situation, it helps me know that I won't be alone when I go through. I'm so proud of you all for everything that you've gotten through, for everything you've been through and lived. You lived. We are successful. We are resilient. I want you to go out there today and take some steps, take some action towards changing some difficulty. Even if it's a small step, that's all right. Action, and more action is what changes things. I want to thank you all for being out there. Thank you to the folks that are chiming in. I truly appreciate your support and your interactions, especially with each other. Beautiful thing about PRN is I may come out here and I may teach a class, but everybody in the chat section is supporting each other. That's a beautiful thing. Action, and more action. All right. Find your people. Build your strength. Take action and learn from experience. All right. I want to thank you all for being here today. And I will see you. Actually, I'll see you at 11:30 for Keys to My New Door. But I'll see you next week on Recovery Education. All right. Bye, guys.